All right. Big Wade's in chat, so let's get this party started. Live ranking the CRL top 48. That's what we're doing today. I wanted to do this yesterday, but I didn't. So we're doing it today. And that's the way this is going. But it's another chill stream. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much, I don't really need to explain much. I got my coffee. I've been up since 4:30 this morning. Still warm. And we're just gonna jump right in, I think. I got all the rosters up. I'm gonna make these corrections live because I had wrong information on Wichita State's roster. I think, Wade, you're the only one here. So just so you know, they're playing with Aqua Steers instead of Mason. Wherever I put Northeastern, you have to be not far behind. Wade, I don't know if I'm going to be getting to the area of the ranking where Northeastern would be. I'll be honest. Sorry. I don't know if Northeastern is top 48 at the moment. But that's what we're going to sort out today. So we're going to sort out. I went ahead. I did do this last night. I updated the results page on my little spreadsheet. I'm going to fill in those dates, actually. But since the last time we did this, I totally did not update my last updated cell. So we're going to do that right now. We have had significant matchups in NACE. TCS, which is the Tri-Cities Slamland qualifiers, have gone on. QCC only had one, I think, significant result because Shawnee State was playing in it. Alright, when I get there, Warner's not far behind. Alright, that's fine by me. That's fine by me. But yeah, there were no significant PCL matches. They were all ranked teams against non-ranked teams. And I assume everyone took care of business, which, now that I say that, let's actually check on it. I need to, here we go. Let's switch over. Alright, let's check on PCL. Let's see how everyone's doing. We got anything crazy going on? Reschedule. Wait, this is round 2. Hold on. Forfeit. 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 Oh, wait. Kaiser lost. That's no good. Better check on that, actually. Oh, Akron Blue won. Maryland won. Nice. Syracuse beat Salt College. Fisher Navy beat USF. That's actually a decent win. That's not what I would consider. Whoa, what is going on with my green screen? I would not consider beating USF like a real significant win for Fisher, but if they had lost, which I think maybe is a real possibility, that could have been significant. Man, what is going on? All right, it's better. George Mason, beat my Auburn Tigers. That's a shame. I was hyping Auburn up. Kaiser also lost to Mount Aloysius in 7. ECAC started last week? Am I a week behind? Oh, now I gotta check ECAC. I didn't add those results. Yeah, Columbia beat GFU. Oh, just George Fox. Recognize that G anywhere. Alright, what happened here? Kaiser. Oh, they're playing with a sub, first of all. No Denzi. Still, that's not great. All GC3s. Oh, Barris is good, though. I remember him. I know Barris. Okay, well, I don't really register series where teams are playing with a sub. Unless it's, like, a comparable sub. Like, if Akron were playing with Jonathan or something like that. I would still consider ranking that. But alright, now we gotta check ECAC. Here we go. Gotta locate the platform real quick. Give me 1 second. Good comms, though, on ECAC starting, Wade. Yeah, alright, here we go. What we got? Coming soon. Regular season match. Recent matches. Let's go to Titans. How many groups we got? 2 groups in Titans. And round 1 is at the bottom. Don't nuke your rating. Don't worry, Turnip. I won't. The fact that you guys, UT Dallas, and who was the third team? Burton Parker JV didn't make tier 1 in the SEL, I think is going to help me bring back double elimination for tier assignment. Because I compared the schedules, and since the tiebreakers between 4 and 2 teams, you guys, UTD, and BPC UJV all lost to teams I would either rank in the top 48 or like a solid tier 1 team in the SEL. And those were both your losses. And then on the other side, the teams that made it that maybe shouldn't, like South Carolina B, UAH Blue was in this boat, and there was a third team as well. They didn't play either a single one of those teams, or they only played one of those teams, which gives them a distinct advantage by way of just their schedule. UTK, they had 3 forfeit wins. So, I mean, I've been wanting to bring back double elimination, but players had advocated for Swiss when we first made the switch, but it just doesn't work well enough with our numbers that I think we need to go back to double elim. Even though there's less leeway with double elim, and I don't know. I think it's easier just to demonstrate who can make it or why you didn't make it to tier 1. So that's a shortcoming on the league's part. I'll definitely concede that, but I think double elimination will come back. Yeah, it was a bit confusing, but back to the greater CRL landscape. Triple elim, whew. RL committees turn up. Bring it up in RL committees. All right, so Bruton Parker Premier beat Fisher. Okay. Ball State Black beat Akron Golds. That battle of the B teams keeps going back and forth. I love it. And Mount Aloysius beat Kaiser, which I don't think I had Kaiser ranked, but they were definitely a team that I was looking at. Why can't these tournament organization platforms make sense? Why is it defaulting to round 7 when I open up their group? Why is round 1 at the bottom? Why is Division F the first division that I go to when I load up ECAC Rocket League? All right, Wichita State forfeit win. Oklahoma Christian forfeit win. These side leagues and their forfeits, man. Like if I were to go to the overview, the details, you got recent matches. That defaults to Titans. I'll respect that. I like that. View teams. What do we get? We get everyone. Can you sort? Can't sort by divisions. It's not even alphabetical. Doesn't matter. That's a tangent. We're not going on today. Let's see. These are significant results for sure. Oh. Okay. Well, here's problem number 1 when looking at this. Fisher RL from Fisher College is their C team. So I just don't know how a mainstream fan of Collegiate Rocket League is supposed to keep up with this. Like, if you're just following at a very base level, how do you not look at this? Well, you're probably not looking at ECAC first of all, but how do you not look at this and you're like, what? Fisher lost? Oh, they must suck. And then carry that in your next conversation. Ridiculous. It's the Fisher C team. We're not logging it. And then Ball State Black. Yep. Starting rosters. Oh, well, participants. Shocks is listed as a participant. And I don't think That indicates... What? What is this? Just a match result? Alright, so now, when trying to look at which players we're playing in this series, the match links take you to this. I'm going to assume that this was both starting rosters. And that's what we're going with, until told otherwise. And then we got Mount Aloysius beating Kaiser in 7. Alright. I want to see this new Lock Kid play. I've seen Skippy and Pig B play, but I haven't seen Lock play quite yet. Not sure. Look at this. Not sure on score Mounties won as this went a full 7 games. Fair enough. So it was a 1-0. 1-0. Oh, 6-0. And then 4-3. 5-3. 2-1. So Kaiser rattled off 3 in a row on him. And Mount Aloysius 1 and 7. Alright. I've got both of those teams kind of on the outside looking in, and I'll switch over to my ranking section. I've got them both as like notable teams that aren't in the top 48. So we will definitely log this series. So Mount Aloysius 4-3 Kaiser. And then BSU B is what I think I have them. No. What I have them listed as. BSU Black. I need to get rid of the colors, methinks. Just go with either the regular school name for the A team, and then either B or JV for the second one, depending on the program. But not yet, because that's an ordeal. All right, so ECAC's been filled in. We got that. We got those bracket quals. If you want me to show the brackets, I can. And then you got NACE and you got NECC. Nothing happened in PCL except for Kaiser losing with a sub. So I'm not going to log that. But all right, that brings us now to the rankings portion of this stream. This is going to take a while. Actually, it may not, because my I logged my rankings from last week, and probably not much is going to change the top, because none of these teams have really played outside of Baylor's played. They lost to West Virginia in NACE, so that actually will shake it up just a tad. It'll probably switch in my mind. We'll see. We'll start with the easy stuff. I'm definitely going to make a change at the top. I think Maryville is the best team in CRL, and I've come around on that. Winthrop I will have a second, though. Florida Southern has watched me very closely. That's all right. We'll get there when we get there. All right. So Maryville, Winthrop, easy top 2. West Virginia, probably on paper better than Concord, but in those head-to-heads, Concord does not lose to West Virginia. WVU, they beat Baylor in 5. So they're definitely 3. That's easy. Then it's between Concord and Baylor for sure. Concord, their players have been having better RLCS results. So I think I'm going to keep them at 4. Put Baylor in 5. And then you've got St. Clair and Northwood. Anything crazy happen to them? Nope. Nope. Ball State still hasn't played. Fisher have competed. They beat Indiana Tech pretty convincingly. Oklahoma Christian played. Who'd they beat? Let's have a look. So I'm gonna sort these. I don't really want to mess with these too much. Let's do dates. It has to be Z to A. Make it more recent. Although that'll put LDs at the bottom. Oh well. NECC is probably the most relevant. Full best of sevens. Most teams are playing in that. Northwood 4-0 Leslie. Concord 4-0 Davenport. Oklahoma Christian 4-1 Davenport Red. Okay, nothing too crazy. Davenport getting swept by Concord. I don't know if I'm putting too much stock in that, because that was Davenport's first official, and they're already kind of a gatekeeper team of the top echelon anyway. So I'll probably end up keeping the rest of my top 12 the same. I don't think anyone really moved the needle. Syracuse didn't play anyone of significance. They just had their PEC match, and then I think they got a forfeit win in PCL. So I'm probably going to keep them at 12. I don't think Davenport losing to Concord, even though it was a sweep, is enough to drop them below Syracuse. Which I think Syracuse look good, but their wins are Michigan State and Boise State. And so until they do something more than that, I think I'll still probably have them behind Davenport. I need a reason to move them up. And sometimes teams losing is enough of a reason to move another team up when they haven't really had a week of significance. But I don't think Davenport losing to Concord is enough of that. Akron losing though, because they lost in 5 to, let's find Nace. Lost in 5 to Cumberland. Cumberland with Hot Shot, by the way. Shout out Hot Shot. I think it was Hot Shot, Nex, and Polar was the trio that played in that series. Which is crazy to me. I don't know what's going on at Cumberland right now. But whatever it is, it's working enough to beat Akron. So that'll definitely drop Akron down. Indiana Tech, they lost to Fisher. So we're looking at... All right, I'm going to... how am I going to do this? I'm going to commandeer TJ's column for my own notes, because this section of teams is so difficult to rank. I'll include Ole Miss in that. So let's put the results side by side. So you got Akron, who lost 2-3 to Cumberland. They do anything else? No, they did not. You got Indiana Tech. They lost 1-4 to Fisher. Akron Golds 1-2 recently. Let me find their results. I'm not going to tab over for this one. They beat Indiana in 5. They lost to KSU. That was on my stream last week. That's right. 1-4 to KSU. And 3-4 to BSU Black. So Akron Golds, unfortunately, because I love that team, they are going to have to drop a bit. Boise State, they didn't do anything of significance in the last week. They've lost to Baylor. Or no, they're playing in the top 8. I'll tab over for this one. Boise, we've got a Game 5 loss to Michigan State, and we've got a 1-3 loss to Baylor. Okay, so yeah, it is just Baylor and MSU. And that Michigan State loss, that was to open the season, really, for them. So I think I'm okay with keeping them as is. Kennesaw State, though. 4-1 Akron Golds. George Mason, yet to play. Although they beat my Auburn Tigers, so they might have to drop a few spots just out of spite. Michigan State, 1-1 with loss to Syracuse, whenever Boise. These PEC teams, man, I wish they had better competition. Cumberland, though. 3-2 ETSU. 3-2 Akron. The boys over at Cumberland's. I don't know. I don't know what's in the water over there in Lebanon, Tennessee. 3-2 ETSU. Oh, and they 2-0'd Bruton Parker as well. Hotshot sent me a list of their results. Let me go pull those up. That I will not be showing on screen. And 3-1 versus Kennesaw State. That might have been Kennesaw State with Dylan. So I'm not going to list that one. I think that's why it's not in my, my ranking sheet. But still a good run from Cumberland. And the Ball State Black, 4-3 Akron Golds. And did they do anything else? No. No, they have not. And then Ole Miss, they got a win in the NECC. 4-0 over St. Clair Golds. Which doesn't really tell me a ton. So, with all of that in mind, let's sort these teams out. Kennesaw State's win over Akron Golds. Definitely should jump them up. Indiana Tech losing to Fisher is still a quality loss to a team ranked above them. But I think that is one of those where the series length is going to have me drop them a tad. Because Fisher's good, but Indiana Tech is one of those teams that around 14 against a fringe top 10 roster, I think you should be more competitive, especially in a full best of 7. And with Boise's loss to Michigan State on the season, I don't know if I feel good about putting them at 13. Kennesaw State, though, has a small sample size. So it is difficult to put them at 13 just for one win over an Akron Gold who we don't know much about really. This is tricky. A lot of teams losing in this range. This is one of those that when I'm ranking myself, I'll usually get up and walk around, like do a lap around my apartment, and then sit back down and see if I have come to any realizations by way of divine intervention. So I'll take this moment to say for those in chat, this spreadsheet is publicly available. It's in this Discord. Some of you might already be in it. In the important links channel, I've put it there. If any of you are interested in following along with notable rosters and what leagues they're playing in inside tournaments, I'll probably add which lands they all play in once we get to that area of this season. And then we've got all notable rankings, or all notable results that have happened so far. My CECC tracker, and also NECC tracker over to the right here. And then the lands that I know of so far. So I had Akron at 13, and I lost to my number 20 ranked team. So I think they do need to drop a bit, considering that is their first display as a team this semester. I don't think it has to be too much. Am I redoing this? Redoing what? The Discord? Oh, top 48? Yeah. I try to do a top 48 every week. There should have been a colleague poll out this weekend, but I don't know what's going on over there. So I'm me and TJ. Well, did TJ post his? I guess we went over by the podcast. So me and TJ are the only sources of top 48s in the scene right now. Because colleague's being weird. Man. So I went Akron, then Indiana Tech. Then Akron Gold. Both teams suffered losses. Then Boise. Then Kennesaw State. What if I did put Kennesaw at 13? They did look really good against Akron Gold, but you gonna see me and TJ at East Tennessee State? I don't know. TJ is a strong maybe. I'm a weak maybe. I just I've talked about this a little bit on stream, but I started working at this coffee shop over the break, and I just got promoted to manager of the coffee shop like yesterday. So that's one of the 2 weekends that falls around spring break at Auburn. And so I don't know what that's going to look like for me, trying to juggle this new management position and also traveling to lands. Because I will be at Boost on the Beach the weekend after that, which makes it difficult. All right, I gotta make a decision. I am going to put Kennesaw State at 13, put Boise at 14, keep Indiana Tech around there at 15. Then put Akron at 16. Cumberland at 17. George Mason at 18. Ball State Black at 19. Michigan State at 20. Akron Gold 21. Ole Miss 22. Oh yeah, Boost on the Beach is a fantastic land. I'm excited. Even without a prize pool, they're pulling some pretty decent teams. Okay, so here's the logic. My previous 13, 14, and 15 all lost. Akron to my number 20 team. Indiana Tech to a top 10 team. So I'm only dropping them 1 spot. But Boise State, actually, wait. Boise State hasn't yet beaten a team in the top 20. I don't know if I can move them up. They've lost to Baylor and to Michigan State. No. Indiana Tech's going to stay at 14. I just realistically can't move Boise up. It's a sample size problem. 2 series against Baylor and Michigan State, and they've lost them both. The Michigan State one was close. And I still think Boise State is the better team compared to Michigan State, but I can't move them up when they haven't won a series yet. What's up, Royales? Do I know anything about the Kentucky land? So that is not happening this semester. They've had some budget issues with some their usual major sponsors. They've had to cut back. Normally it was two times a year, but now it's just going to be a fall LAN. So no Bluegrass Boost Battle this spring, unfortunately. Tri-Cities is probably the best travel LAN to go to this semester when you're looking at quality of competition and prize pool, which for those of you that want to qualify for the TCS LAN, that final qualifier is tomorrow. I'll be streaming it. It's in Johnson City, Tennessee. The LAN is, not the qualifier. The qualifier's online. And if you want the link, Royales, I can hit you with that real quick. Because you'll have to act quick on the sign-ups. It is in early March. Boom. Let's see. I'll pull up which teams are in it in the final qualifier so far. What am I doing? Who we got? Any notable? Shawnee State, Kaiser, Daytona State, Oklahoma, UTK, all okay teams. No heavy hitters in this third qualifier. Pretty surprised by that, because in the first two, Concord qualified, Florida qualified, Bruton Parker qualified, Indiana Tech, Winthrop Academy, and Conestoga, and then Akron Glue. Actually, I know who was so Emilio Patty and Bullseye. They qualified. Kennesaw State B qualified. WCTC and James Madison qualified. And Northeastern and UTD. So, pretty quality. It's not BBB quality, but still pretty quality. And the prize pool is going to be between 3,000 and 3,500 is what I've been told. That's the ETSU LAN, yeah. Nice. Yeah, well, act quick. Make sure they know they need a quick turnaround of that decision, because registration closes tonight, I think, officially, but I can, if the tournament organizer hears that you guys are interested, I'm sure he'd be able to sign you guys up day of. What's up, Prosk? All right. Top 12 I'm happy with. Kennesaw State, I think I'm happy with, considering the losses elsewhere. Indiana Tech, by way of the other teams around them either not winning or losing, I think I'm keeping it 14, despite the loss, because this is a quality loss. What's up, Sir Knights? And Ulides here? Oh, man. This is a celebrity party in my chat right now. Thanks for stopping by, guys. We're just ranking the top 48. Nothing real crazy going on tonight. That'll be tomorrow. I'll be streaming the Tri-Cities Slam qualifier. So that should be crazy again. We had so many Game 5s in the first qual. And then I'm streaming NECC matches on Wednesday. Some bangers popping up there, too. And Akron, they lost in 5 to Cumberland in Nace. It is their debut series, though, so I've dropped them a bit from 13. I still think Akron is a quality side. And Cumberland's, man, I don't know how to rate them right now. Because their roster is in such flux between really the three starters of last semester and Hotshot. But they played with, like, I'm pretty sure they have played with 3 different rosters in those 3 series. Imagine still need to play in Tri-Cities Qual. You tell them, Parask. You're invested in the top 48 Utility? I can't imagine why. If I put Cumberland above Boise. Feels crazy. But Cumberland are winning. And Boise is not. And then if I'm putting Cumberland right behind Akron, with the head-to-head win, I feel like I gotta bump them above it. This is so difficult. George Mason still haven't done anything this season, but they had a strong end to fall. This is so tough. All right, I'm going to leave it as is right now. But this one right here, I'm going to have to come back to. The rest of this, I'm pretty happy with. Michigan State dropping 1, but that's more so because they got jumped by 2 teams for not playing anything of significance. And Akron Gold tanking a bit, unfortunately. They lost to Syracuse on a show match on my stream. Lost to Ball State Black in 7. They barely beat Indiana. It was in Game 5 in CCS, which is CCS, but still. And then they lost in 5 at Kennesaw State. Yeah, they're just not quite there yet. And then Ole Miss at 22. Okay with that for now. All right. Let's move along. Who we got next? ETSU, Columbia, Lubbock Christian, Leslie, Davenport Red, St. Clair Golds. Let's see if these teams did anything this week. ETSU went 2-1. Their results were a Game 5 loss to Cumberland, a Game 5 win over Daytona State, and a Game 5 win over Bruton Parker. I don't think that's really much to move them at all. I think 23 rather. It's a perfect spot for them. Columbia did nothing. LCU did nothing. Leslie lost to Northwood, which in the grand scheme of their spot in the rankings is nothing. Davenport Red lost to Oklahoma Christian. St. Clair Gold lost to Ole Miss. Bruton Parker have had a crazy start to the semester already. Let's pull up their results. Because look at this. 4-2 win over Cleveland State, which is good revenge for the losses they suffered to them previously. There are the losses. Lost to Cleveland State. Win over Carthage, but they also lost to Carthage that same night. There it is. Then they won in Game 3 over Daytona State. Lost to Cumberland in a best of 3. Lost to ETSU in 5. And they beat Conestoga. Yeah. I think them beating Cleveland State is good. But it doesn't say a ton about Bruton Parker yet. And then we've got this lot. I want to go all the way down to Wichita, because I would like to list results. This is my CRL Spring 2026 spreadsheet, Prosk. If you're interested in this Discord, in my important links channel, it is open to the public. It shows rosters, my results table, my rankings, NTJ's rankings, and normally colleague if they post the rankings. And then I got my CECC tracker and my LAN tracker. Open to the public, free of charge. Tell them Bepic sent you. Oh, the results table? Yeah, this is everything, most everything, probably everything notable that has happened so far this season. So that includes 2 weeks now of NECC, a week of CCS, SEL, a couple of PEC matches littered in there, week of NACE, some LAN quals, and ECAC. And so what it does, it takes these results and documents them for every team in the top 48. And so it shows you their overall record in these, and this is arbitrary because it's my consideration of what is a notable result, but I like to think my arbitrary decision is fairly informed, so I think it's okay. So it takes their overall record in these notable matches, which is usually matchups against another ranked team in the top 48, or if they lose to a team outside the top 48, then I consider that notable because it's a big upset. And so it tracks overall record, your record versus the top 8, your record versus the 9 through 16 range, and then record versus the entire top 16, and then does that in tiers all the way to top 48, and then it counts your unranked losses as well. And so that's really helpful when you're looking around the number 48 range, because look at this. Shawnee State and UT Dallas, both with 3 unranked losses already this semester. And so I kind of have to, well, for Shawnee State, that means they're definitely dropping out because that is a bad record. They've yet to beat someone in the top 48. But for UT Dallas, now I look at who did they beat, who did they lose to. And then I have to weigh that compared to the other teams in the top 48 and see if they deserve to stay or just move down or get dropped. And if you look at a team like BPCU JV, 5 unranked losses and no wins in the top 48, definitely not a top 48 team. I thought they might be. That's why they're on this list. I thought they could. They've got top 48 potential. It's what these teams are. But unfortunately for Bruton Parker JV, it's not looking like it. So FSC should be in this list as well. Let's see if I have... Yeah, I've already got results logged. Added them. Anyway, what's my rankings? ETSU, Columbia, LCU, Leslie, Davenport, St. Clair Gold, and Bruton Parker. I don't think should move at all from last week's ranking. So we're going to keep them as is. Cleveland State. They lost to Bruton Parker, but let's see what the teams around them did. South Carolina. They beat Daytona State 4-2. But they did lose to Daytona State in SEL placements. With a sub, though. With a sub. Turnup has informed me. Which, I need to... Well, I don't trust you, Turnup, but I want to see who your sub was. You're playing with T-Man? Thanks, Prosk. I get bored on flights. And so... I create stuff like this. With Zombie... I don't even know Zombie. I might scratch that from the records, unfortunately for Daytona State. He's peak GC2, C-Team. Yeah. I'm going to scrub that one from the records. I don't consider that notable if you're playing with a sub like that. Especially when you beat Daytona State 4-2 with your starting lineup. And then the 3 over UNC Charlotte is pretty good. We also lost to KSU with him. Yeah, I didn't log that one. I think because it was KSU with Dylan in. So when teams play with subs like that, I don't usually log it, except in special cases. Then Carthage lost 0-4. It was like to St. Clair or something. I think it was St. Clair. Yeah. San Diego State. San Diego State, actually, now that I remember this, they were playing in several things this weekend, or this past week. They were in the Collegiate West Coast Series, which TJ and I will talk about in on the podcast on Tuesday, tomorrow. Let's run through these real quick, see if anything crazy happened. NAU wins. Arizona State wins. Nothing crazy. San Diego State. All good, all good. Oh, Colorado lost to Weber State. Okay. CSUN 2-0. Long Beach Community College. Isn't that where Gio went? Well, he's not playing if it was. Arizona go 2-0. Ooh, Sac State's 1-2. That sucks for them. Sac State's an okay team. Alright, so nothing crazy there. Nothing to log. San Diego State, though, did lose NECC, but they were playing with a sub. So that's why I didn't log it. The results so far this season are 3-0 over Oklahoma. So, probably keep them about the same. Honestly, I'm pretty satisfied with this range. Since Cleveland State lost, I might bump South Carolina up to 30. I think that makes sense. Because this should be a fairly fluid ranking. I think the deeper into the semester we go, it'll be less fluid just because teams will have more of a resume behind them, and so week-to-week results won't influence their rank quite as much. But yeah, I think South Carolina can get bumped up. Cleveland State's Carthage lost, but it's to St. Clair. San Diego State's WCTC didn't do anything. No, they played in the qualifier. Hold on. They do anything crazy in there? Nothing notable. Well, the notable series is lower side of the top 48. They beat Bruton Parker JV. It's okay, but that's not going to move them up at all. And Florida, I mean, at 35, they had quite the week. They beat Florida Southern in 7. They lost to Winthrop Academy. What were the results? Yeah, look at this. 2-3. Really, with no wins in the top 48. That Florida Southern win's pretty quality. They beat James Madison in 5 as well. So they 4-3'd Florida Southern. They lost to Winthrop Academy. Lost to St. Clair Golds. Lost to Winthrop Academy again. And beat James Madison. Unfortunately for Florida, in the multiple chances they've had to beat Winthrop Academy, unfortunately, I don't think I can... I think I have to drop them, honestly. Because Winthrop Academy definitely has to move up. Above Florida. Wichita State didn't do anything. Maryland's think they beat like Ohio State or something. Yeah, nothing on Maryland's part. Fisher Navy went 2-0. Who'd they play? They 3-1'd Florida Southern. And they 3-2'd Bruton Parker JV. So let's get all these teams in a clump here and do some figuring. Winthrop Academy. Let's see what they did. Actually, let's... They've also had a crazy week. Beat Florida, lost to Davenport Red, lost to St. Clair Golds. They beat Charlotte in C3. Beat Florida. And they beat Kennesaw State B in 7 in the NECC. I don't think it's enough to put them above Wichita. And Maryland, watch them play some in the CCS. Fisher Navy, that is a good team on paper. Fisher Navy is. I went 38 before. Probably bring 36. Then Winthrop Academy. And then, unfortunately, Florida. I might drop you. Because they're going to game 5s with everyone. And they're winning. The ones that they should be winning to stay in this top 40 range. But still. They have a real test against Daytona State this week. Does the spreadsheet auto-adjust the win in the top 16 if a lower team knocks a higher team down a tier? So the win would count as the top 32 win? Yeah, so what it does is when I finish my top 48 list, I input my top 48 here, and so that'll update these teams, and so this record will adjust. Yeah, so like if Fisher beat Northwood and I were to swap those two in the ranking, then Fisher would, if they were 0-0 against the top 8 before that, and then Northwood drops to number 9, then Fisher would then be 0-0 again against the top 8. So it's not a perfect system. You definitely need context. In some situations, you can't just look at the numbers at face value, which I suppose is a lesson that I would like to be taken from these numbers, but I don't think it's a lesson that will always be taken from these numbers. Context is always necessary. But yeah, it does auto-adjust. I do love my spreadsheets. I track my entire life in spreadsheets. I can tell you every single dollar I've spent in the last 2 years since I graduated college. Like, spent and earned. I can tell you where it went. Tell you what month it was spent in. Find the transaction. I log that. I log my gas mileage for my car as well. Ever since like when I got it in high school, I could tell you, save for maybe a handful of times I got gas, like how much I paid for gas, how many gallons I filled up, what the price of gas was at the station at the time, that sort of thing. I'm a bit of a nerd. I don't know if this was apparent to everyone. I know you see esports caster and you think that's a guy that's as cool as they come, but I'm a little bit of a nerd. Okay, back to ranking my top 48 CRL teams. I learned that in school or from parents, kind of both. My dad is very good at Excel. He works in pricing, and so I picked up an appreciation for spreadsheets from him for sure. But then I learned a lot. I learned the basics in school. The rest Google taught me. Columbia College be a top 20 easy? Yeah, I think they have the potential to be for sure cryptic. For sure. I'm waiting for results from them, though. Because I thought they were going to be a really good team last semester, and then they weren't. I mean, they were a good team, but they didn't have a resume at all. Kazi is quite the upgrade. That's why, I mean, I'm pretty sure they were like the 30 range, like 28 or 29, before they added Kazi. So I've already bumped them up, but I need results from Columbia. Because Rhyolite and Gusky, even with, you know, a lesser third, no offense to Excel, so I think that's an insult when comparing him to Kazi. Yeah, and they're not playing in much either this semester, which is my issue. No Kaiser is crazy. They play with Zerks. Do more CRL. That's good. For now, they're sitting at 24, but I'm one of the bigger Gusky and Rhyolite fans in the CRL scene. I can assure you of that. I just need them to notch some wins. And February 15th, everyone better be playing in that. Anyone, Valentine's Day is the night before. You tell your significant others that you're gonna take them to dinner, but then you're gonna get a good night's rest before CRL the next day. None of this staying out late business. Got important stuff to take care of at Open Qual 1. No Kaiser, I don't think is crazy. Chieferton. Kaiser... some of you have significant others, surely. Kaiser has yet to beat a team in the top 48. And they lost to Shawnee State, who will not be in the top 48 after this ranking. And they lost to Mount Aloysius. They also lost to James Madison in 7 in a show match. And so I mean, they just haven't done anything to be ranked in the top 48 yet. Hey, you signed up for Royales? Nice. Nice. I appreciate it. Good luck in the qual tomorrow. Hopefully it works out, because I would love to see you guys play in that land. I'll be taking me to dinner? Yes. I appreciate that. So is this like a you're coming to Auburn thing, or like do I have to drive out to Norman tonight or this week or what? Can you get dinner too? I'm not taking anyone to dinner, Kev. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I'm being taken to dinner myself, so you have to ask Albedo to take you out. I'm working Valentine's Day. That's where it's at. All right, enough distractions. Wichita State's 35. Yeah, Fisher Navy, same deal. I need to see more from them. Winthrop Academy at 37. I think is fair enough. When you beat Florida next week in CCS? Oh, man. If you guys beat Florida next week in CCS, Albedo, you're going to have to make me pull your results from, like, SEL, tier assignment, other CCS play. But you beat Florida. I can guarantee you that you'll have a spot in my notable teams that aren't ranked list. I'll tell you that much. Also, if any of you see notable, like, this section here missing someone that you think should be in it, definitely let me know. I'm always updating. Where's Northwood? Kept him at 7. That's where I had him last week. Then Maryland, then Florida. And then who we got? Daytona State, Indiana, Albright, York, Brock, Shawnee State, UNCC, Florida Southern, UTD. Let's You beat Leslie just to stay in 7th? Kev, I don't know if beating Leslie is the triumphant victory for you guys that you're parading it as. You guys should have beaten Leslie the first time around. That's... Yeah, well... I don't think Leslie is Northwood's benchmark, nor should it ever be. If beating Leslie is Northwood's benchmark of success, that program is a shell of its former self. So I hold Northwood in higher regard than that. All right, Maryland's dropping a spot. Why? What have they done this week? Let's pull up CCS real quick. Flashbang. Let's find Maryland. Who'd they play? They 3-1'd Arizona. It's an okay win. Arizona's a decent team. They 3-0'd Louisiana. Doesn't really do much. And when Winthrop Academy's beating Florida, I feel like that's more merit to get bumped up than Maryland have to stay the same. So, I'll keep them there. I might see a Kev Dog once or twice this semester. You subbing in for the A team? If hockey's got too much homework, are they letting you fill a spot? That'd be hype. Maybe. All right, I gotta place a call with Slew then. All right, this is where it gets juicy. Because teams that I think should be in contention here are definitely James Madison. Shawnee State will be dropping. So I'm already taking them off. Florida Southern. Oh, wait. Florida Southern's... I had them ranked. Oh, shoot. That's right. After I made some adjustments to my ranking for Collegiate Exclusive, I didn't update my rankings tab. That's why. Take out UTD. Yeah, I'm in the process of reviewing. So Indiana, what have they done? I know they lost in Game 5 to Akron Gold. They 3-2 to KSU B. A win's a win. 3-2 Conestoga. Anything else for Indiana? No. Oh, they lost 0-3 to Daytona State. Okay, that's significant. We're just going to expand this temporarily. That's an important head-to-head for Daytona State. And what have Daytona State done? They lost 0-3 to JMU. They lost 1-4 to South Carolina. They lost 2-3 to UT Dallas. Uh-oh, Daytona State. Uh-oh. They lost 1-2 to BPCU. They are 1-5 right now. Let's show that on the results table. Daytona State right here. 1-5 in notable matchups. 1 unranked loss. And they are 1-1 against the 33 through 48 range. And 0-3 against the top 17 through 32. Albright, York, and Brock have done nothing. Charlotte have their Game 5 loss to Winthrop Academy. 0-3 to USC. Anything else from Charlotte? They beat Shawnee State 4-1. And then in TCS quals, they lost 1-2 to UTD and 0-2 to Northeastern. Florida Southern, 3-4 loss to Florida. 3-0 over UT. This is why this area gets so difficult. Because these are all the grinders. And so they're playing on everything. They're trading wins and losses with everyone. CUJV. And Florida. We gotta put their resume up as well. Winthrop Academy and 2-3 Winthrop Academy. 1-3, 2-3. And they beat JMU. 3 SCC golds. See? These guys are grinders. This is the second week of the season. Alright, now let's do UT Dallas. UTD. 0-3 FSC. 1-2 OU. 2. Oh, that's UTJV. I was just looking at. 0-2 KSUB. 3-2 Daytona State. 2-1 UNCC. Let's do James Madison. It's very helpful to have these results side by side like this, which is why I do this. 2-3 PCU JV. 3-2 BPCU JV. Both in SEL tier assignment, by the way. They did go 2-3 with Concord, but I know those Concord boys too well to log that as a significant results, at least in this section. And they 3-0 Daytona State, 2-0 Shawnee State. All right. So we've got all of those down. Who are we missing? Are we missing anyone significant? Conestoga could be in the conversation. What's Conestoga done? Two, 3 Indiana. I don't know why this is randomly centered. 2-3 Indiana. 1-3 BPCU. They will go to 5 with UTD JV. 3-1 KSUB. All right, we've got room for 3-2 UTD JV. This is why I'm streaming this now, because doing this with all of you in chat is so much more fun. Okay. We're gonna need a new column. So, against these teams mentioned, which are teams that I would consider to be at or around the 40 through 60 range, Florida are 2-3. Daytona State 1-4. Indiana is Akron Gold in there. So I'll say 2-1. UNCC is 1-4. Florida Southern is 2-2. UTD 2-3. James Madison 3-2. And Conestoga is 2-2. So these definitely aren't how I'm going to sort them. But it is worth noting. Who is it that was saying that they have UNC Charlotte around the top 48? Because they're hanging on by a thread, I swear. The losses to UTD and Northeastern are rough. I better make sure they were playing with their full lineup in that one. That was in TCS 2. Let's look together. We're a team here. Knight, Bala, and Lazy. No one else listed. Shout out Northeastern. Shout out. I don't think they've had any significant enough wins to put them in the top 48. But, I mean, yeah. Kaiser can't be losing to a Shawnee State team that is losing to James Madison and whoever they lost. Northeastern. Yeah, I mean, UNCC definitely. That's why I'm saying they're hanging on by a thread. But I don't know who I would fill their spots with. So let's knock out the top. Let's knock out the top teams of this group, which I definitely think Florida is right there. They've beaten the teams below this 39 mark. Winthrop Academy, they've lost to now twice. And going to game 5s and 7s doesn't really bother me, as long as you're winning the ones that you should be winning and, you know, pulling a good result here and there. So I think Florida at 39 I'm happy with. Albright, York, and Brock. I think I'm going to drop Daytona State and Indiana below Albright, York, and Brock. I think Albright could definitely be 40. And then York and Brock. I don't know what to do with those two, so I'm just going to keep them as like a package there at 41 and 42. They're like a buffer zone between the teams that are trading wins and losses. Like, look at that. Look at all that right there. That's a mess. That's a mess of trading wins and losses. Florida Southern has Game 7 loss to Florida. They beat UT Dallas convincingly. It's a game off of Fisher Navy. And they beat BPCU JV. I think they could reasonably be 43. Oh, I watched that Game 7. I watched that live. I was losing my mind. You guys got Larried on in that Game 7. That was one of Larry's greatest performances ever. I could not believe what I was watching. Like, not single-handedly bringing Florida Southern or bringing Florida back from a 3-0 deficit, but for those that didn't watch, Florida Southern, they go to Game 7 with Florida, and I'm pretty sure they were up like 3-2 or 3-1 in that series too. Florida like made a full comeback, and it goes to Game 7. Florida Southern end up, was it a reverse sweep? It might have been a reverse sweep, actually. But yeah, 3-0 start. Are you trading wins? Okay, never mind. Sorry. I would have confirmed it if I was at all thinking it. Never mind. 3-0 start for Florida Southern. They get a couple kickoff goals, but also some like plays where they win the kickoff, but then they have to control the ball in offense, and then end up scoring on it. And then Florida come back. They get control back of the midfield. They start defending like their lives depend on it. And then Larry starts absolutely peaking. We might go and watch that here in a second. If we've got time. I got to go at 5:30. I got a meeting. But if we have time, we'll go and watch that Game 7. But anyway. Next up. We've got 6 spots to fill. I think Kaiser and Shawnee State are out of contention. Borregos and Burroughs, I never know anything about until CRL starts. James Madison, though, I do need to consider. I have. Okay, they're right there. It was a Larry quad trick. He scored 3, the 3 to bring it back, and then the 4th to win it. It was insane. And the series winner was a double, like a tight angle double tap that he just nails. He absolutely nailed it. It's getting me excited just thinking about it again. We're gonna watch that. We're gonna watch that. Let's finish this up. All right, let's lock in so we can go watch that. All right. UNCC, hanging on by a thread. Indiana lost to Daytona State 3-0. KSUB actually could be in contention as well. Let's see if they've done anything crazy. They've got one unranked loss, but they beat UT Dallas. They lost to Conestoga. They lost to Indiana in 5. And they lost to Winthrop Academy in 7. Okay, KSUB is going to go on here. Man, ooh, their best win being a best of 3 over UT Dallas is not great. You missed Northeastern being top 48. I don't... let me look at their resume. 3-1 win over Shawnee State. 2-0 over Charlotte. Shoot. Am I going to have to go back and look at Northeastern's resume? So I haven't been logging their series. I honestly didn't think they were going to be in the conversation for top 48, but they might be. Although if they had beaten any other teams of significance, I'm pretty sure I would have logged them. No. I won't look at last semester. Last semester was 3 months ago. Except for the PCL LAN. We ain't looking at that. Prosk, do you know if they have any wins of significance over this? Aside from this, I mean? Because what all are they playing in? I know they're playing in NEL. Are they playing in the NECC or anything like that? They went to 5 with Florida in the first qual. Oh, that is right. That's right. Let's add that, actually. Let me see if they did anything crazy in the NEL qual. Yeah, well, they got Larried on too. They're Division 3 in NECC, maybe? Alright, we'll check on that. Alright, Northeastern. They did lose 0-2 to Indiana Tech B. So that is a blemish, for sure. No, they actually played all but 2 of their NEL series where they got forfeit wins. Let me see if I can find them in the NECC, and then I think we'll wrap this up. All right, so they're in Division 3. of the NECC. So they're not going to get any quality wins there. But they might have in the placement tournament. Nope, not in the Zippy tournament. And what I love about the NECC and their placement tournament labeling is that I have no idea where they might have been playing. It could be anywhere from Hot Shot to Fennec. You have no idea. I don't even know which one's the second best. Terrible, awful, horrible labeling. There's Drexel. Yeah, they made Zippy the top bracket. This frustrates me. Why? Why? Just why? The naming it Rocket League cars is cute. It's cute. Yeah, you can look up specific teams. I don't think it tells you what tournament they played in. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, it's also Northeastern Black, but doesn't matter. Results, here we go. Was it just Northeastern Black? Might just be them then. Because I did look them up quickly and I saw Northeastern pop up. Northeastern Black. Oh yeah, it's just the B team. Oh well. Still. It gave me another opportunity to rant about how awful the NECC placement tournament labeling is. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one that cares, but I still hate it so much. It's little things like that that make CRL so hard to follow. But alright. Enough complaining. 1-3. 2-1. So, win over Shawnee State's is good enough to put them in the conversation, but Shawnee State's dropped out for sure. And for UNCC, I mean, that has to drop them out as well. It has to. They've beaten nobody in the top 48, and they lost to UTD and Northeastern. Best of threes, yes, but these are still LAN qualifiers. Indiana losing to 3-0 to Daytona State, I think, is enough to drop them from 41. But I don't think it's enough to remove them at all. So I'm going to keep them at 44. Oh, shoot, I didn't put Daytona State. Man. Lost to UTD. I think Daytona State's got to be up there. This is in no particular order yet. I think UTD's got to be up in there too. JMU 3-0ing Daytona State is a good result. It might sneak them, honestly, into like the 48 spot. Conestoga beating KSUB is good. It puts them above KSUB. Got that win over UTD. Wait. Did I mislabel that? Or was it a 3-0? Was it 2-0? Okay. UTD beat Daytona State in 5 as well. Do I have that? I do. That 3-0 win over Indiana was a couple weeks back. Oh my god. Northeastern having beaten Shawnee State and Charlotte when I just dropped Charlotte out of the top 48. I don't know if that's enough for them. It's enough for them to be in my notable teams section. I don't think it's enough for them to be ranked right now. We'll see if there's a spot left over. James Madison could be in that 48 position. Conestoga. Yeah, so lost to KSUB. That was KSUB with TNT in. Wasn't it? Yeah, TNT's on the A team. When teams are playing with subs, I don't usually register those as significant results. How is TNT playing on the B team? For some LAN events, Kennesaw State... Flitz doesn't usually play in smaller LANs. And so sometimes it's Crow, TNT, and Dylan. Sometimes it's TNT playing with the B team. Sometimes it's Crow playing with the B team. They mix and match a lot. It's event dependent. Like in the SEL, Flitz doesn't play in the SEL. That was to Bruton Parker in Qual 1. Do I not have that? Probably not. Alright, I'll put that. All right, 2 spots left between UTD, Conestoga, Kennesaw State B, and Northeastern. Northeastern, I think we're taking off the list. Just don't have the wins yet. UTD I had ranked last time. But they have since lost to... KSUB, it's an 0-2. Oklahoma and Florida Southern. Conestoga losing to Indiana and Bruton Parker. Beating KSUB. So we just all traded wins here. KSUB has beaten UTD but lost to Conestoga. So that result alone would make that the order. But UTD have a win over Daytona State. Still not ranked in CCS. Yeah. CCS is tough to rank at the start of the season, honestly. It's a lot of data to dig through. Because I don't think I ranked him in CCS week 1. I just didn't know yet. Which, to be fair, I don't think they'd played anything yet. Although I didn't drop a rankings list yesterday. My second job is killing me. Daytona State's got losses to James Madison and UTD. What if? You were really bad at the beginning of CCS? Like your B team turn up? What do you mean? Or do you like South Carolina, the South Carolina team that plays in CCS? Or are you guys playing CCS? Oh, last semester. Yeah, I don't know. CCS I consider more for fun than competitive in most cases on the scale of CRL results. Because it's also weird because Nation wants us to rank based on just CCS results. So I can't just transpose my CRL list into CCS. Appreciate the follows, guys. Welcome to the stream. I don't like James Madison's loss to Bruton Parker JV, but they get the win later on, and that also is in SEL tier assignment. Whereas their 3-0 over Daytona State wasn't a LAN qualifier. And that's one that qualified for LAN as well, which is a significant series. Let's put him at 45. Let's do it. UTD, I don't like those losses. Always, I think that's hardly the top reason for arguing they should be out of the top 48. Has Zora passed along the information that I gave him? So I imagine he's complained plenty, but I also do think it's justified, for the record. I figured. Yeah. I don't know if you guys were here earlier when I was talking about it, but I lined the schedules up. USC, Bruton Parker JV, and UT Dallas compared to UAH Blue, UTK, and I forget the third team that made it that I don't know is quite up to that level. And like it was a comparable difference. I bolded the teams that all of those squads played that were in the top 48 of CRL or a significant tier 1 team in the SEL. And the 3 teams that kind of got screwed, they had all 3 of them had played significant teams. Those were their 2 losses, were to good teams. And then you look at the other 3 teams that made it in, and it was obvious it was just like a fact of scheduling screwing them out of the top 48, which I think presenting that data to Fred with player support as well, which I think will come when he talks about it in committees. I think that'll be enough to get us back to doing double elimination. But yeah, I agree. I agree as a shortcoming on the league's part. Man, I honestly don't know where these final spots should go. This is so dumb. Can I do a top 49? Even a top 49 wouldn't help me because I would still have to put them in order. Okay. UTD's losses came in best of 3s. They've got a win over Daytona State. UTD almost beat Conestoga. They're playing them tonight? In what? Nace? Oh. Timer for my meeting in 10 minutes. All right. That is what I'm leaving it as right now. Let's check this out. No. Nace, or NECC, don't tell me you don't save your VODs. Are you serious? VODs are on YouTube? Not on Twitch? Still. They should have their stream from last week. Let's find Larry in Game 7. All right, so it's 3-2 Florida Southern. How does this look if I... Hold on, I'm cropping. All right. NECC is a little dumb with some of their decisions. I'll give you that. I still think they're the best offering of all the leagues, but they do make some dumb decisions. All right, let's skip to Game 7. We don't have much time here. So Florida forces Game 7. Here we go. One of NECC's most dumbest of decisions is they've rejected me as a caster 3 times. And the one time they offered me a spot in their rotation was when I was working at Huntington full time, and I was coaching in the NECC, so I couldn't work it. But yeah, see, this game starts with a lot of Florida Southern control.
This best of 7 series, right? Oh yeah, getting in the face of the opposition as quickly as possible. I mean, Larry has been kind of that no hesitation player that you can count on. To if they call ball, they'll be.
Sorry, Nate. This was an awesome Game 7, though. Have they added any RL casters? Yeah, they added Pyro J this semester, which I think he's a good addition. I love Jake and his commentary. My gripe with NECC casters, like, oh, such a good opening goal from Ulitti. Look at this. I love this from Ulitti. No, Pyro's actually new this last semester. He's new last semester. Let's kick off goal, make it 2. But my issue with the NECC talent, and I love, for the record, these are friends of mine that I've worked with in person and like hung out with when traveling for gigs and working gigs, but Bearlight, Monkey Man, and Tugboat especially, they don't follow the CRL scene. Crazy pinch goal. And it shows. And I wish they had more information, because with NECC having the most high profile, the densest quantity of high profile teams, I think you should have talent that really knows these teams. And previously, they had Captain Atsoka, who used to follow the CRL scene, but had fallen way out of touch. And I filled in once or twice for the NECC, and I was casting with him, and Larry gets his first. And I just did not know at all what he was talking about with regards to the players or kind of the gameplay as well. And that's what annoys me. Larry stole it the last second. But to be fair, Larry did bump the third man right there on the back wall to set the goal up. To be fair. CRL does change fast, which is why you need talent that actually keep up with the scene. And I understand loyalty, but at a certain point, I think you're sacrificing product quality for a little bit of that. Are we in 100, 180? And this is where Florida really start defending like their lives depend on it. A lot of close touches, like on their goal line, in their box. There's 90 seconds left, and they're still down by 2, mind you. Great cut there from Larry. I love that. Rebounds. Larry on the boards. Oh, this was devious. This is when I knew we were watching something special right here. Pops it over K. Frost, goes immediately for Astro. Next time I play this team, it'll look night and day. I'm ready for it, Nate. The Florida Southern's still a great team, but this is such a Florida series to win. Oh, shoot. Spoiler. And Larry catches it, redirects backboard, and nails that shot top right. Like, come on. Look at this. Like, he redirects that with such force to set up such a fast play. I don't know how Ulity's going to read that, especially with no boost. And then absolutely gets all of that ball and nails it top right. Like, that was after my stream had ended that night, and I don't audibly react for a lot of plays, but that's one of those, like, oh my god, what a shot in Game 7 with 30 seconds left. This Florida team, they're not gonna work their way up into the top 32 if they continue to lose series to, like, your Winthrop Academies and potentially James Madison. Like, they went to Game 5. Let me rattle off their Game 5s and 7s real quick. I'll leave you with this. Florida have gone to Game 5 in the last week or so with Northeastern, Winthrop Academy. Game 7 with Florida Southern. Game 5 with James Madison. Game 5 with... Where is it? Hold on. Game 5 there, Game 5 there, Game 5 there. Then they played a CCS match right after this series and went to Game 5. I'm pretty sure. Maybe it was a 3-1. I don't remember. But just going deep in series. But okay. I've got a meeting, everyone. You're all awesome, and I love you. Thanks for tuning in to my boring ranking stream. There's my final top 48. I'll be posting on Twitter later. Follow me at Bepic Casts. A collegiate exclusive podcast episode tomorrow at 5 Eastern. We're running for an hour. Okay? Yeah. Thank you, Winnie Dog. Go follow the podcast there. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It's wherever you get your podcasts. Okay? All right. I love you all. Bye-bye.